All right, welcome back. Like we said before we went on that break, the Minister of Youth and Sports, Sunday Diary, has been laying out his plans for 2020. Of course, in a series of tweets, he has revealed some of the plans that he has for 2020. So let's take you through some of those things, and we'll talk about some of them. Let me just read it to you. It says, earnest work is ongoing to rejuvenate sports development in all ramifications in Nigeria. It's not a dash, but a long-distance race, and we have started. We do not crave early applause. Rather, we want to use this given opportunity to change the fundamentals of sports development. He also goes on to say, we will do all within our powers to ensure that we make the 2020 Tokyo Olympics in Japan count for Nigeria and Nigerians. Our athletes will be exposed to the best training, competitions, and camping possible. The process is already ongoing and will be sustained. He says our short-term sports development plan for the next 2 years gradually unfolds. It is focused on infrastructure, athletes' welfare, grassroots sports, and sports as a viable business. Abuja Stadium is on its way back. National Stadium, Lagos, is set for concession. And also talked about the Amadu Bello Stadium. And he also talks about, he says we will soon undergo renovation, Headmasters Cup for primary schools, Principals Cup, they're coming back. A new talent hunt program, THP, is being finalized. Adoption initiative is bettered, and the policy to turn sports into business are being pursued, among other things. Talks are ongoing concerning the renovation of the Obafemi Awolowo Stadium, formerly Liberty Stadium, with government and a few private individuals. Our goal is to deliver 4 standard pitches by the first quarter of 2020, by God's grace. And he also says, the 6th tweet, the ministry will, in 2020, monitor and ensure the completion of about 20 mini stadiums across the country. The Imo model of 1 mini stadium per local government by each state will be marketed. And finally, he says, efforts are now ongoing to deliver 4 football pitches of FIFA standard soon, probably April, May 20,000, with things running smoothly. All right, so that's the minister's New Year promise to Nigerians who have been worried about the things happening in sports, and all of this will gladden your heart, Cecilia.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good one. You know, usually we have projects like this, lots of ideas and all that, but the follow-up is always a problem. But I love the fact that he gave himself a time frame.
Yes.
He says 2 years. He didn't say, 4 years or 10 years or anything, but he says 2 years. And the other one is 4 football pitches of FIFA standard, which is great. I mean, when Gennett Rowe actually gave her that shocker that the whole of Nigeria, we really don't have standard pitch. I'm like, what happened to your stadium? It simply means the pitch is not standard enough, or the Abuja National Stadium that we all love when it was built and all that. Maybe it was not well kept. Exactly. So I love the fact that, some of these facilities have been adopted, and that's the reason why he's even, bold enough to say that in May and April we should have standard pitches. So maybe when Abuja Stadium is fixed, and of course the National Stadium right here in Lagos, another one you're looking at, you already have these things there. All you have to do is to do the right thing. And that's what everyone is saying. The Amadou Bello Stadium also, that have also been adopted, is another thing. So if we can actually do this, I mean, April, May, I think that's really a good thing. I'm looking forward to that, really. Yeah. And another thing is, you're talking about a state that have actually decided to be having every local government, they have a mini stadium.
It's a model that should be copied.
Every state, yes,
that should be
across
copied.
all boards, not just, looking at one state. And and the question I need to really ask him is the fact that this mini stadium is talking about, are we going to be having, is it just for football, or you're going to have other sports in it, like a basketball
facilities,
court, a volleyball court, of course, gymnasium, and all other things. Or maybe it's just for football alone, recreation. I don't know if that's what they're trying to. But I think if you want to have a mini stadium in every local government of every state, then it needs to have these facilities so that the focus will not just be only on football, because there are other, Nigerians who really want to play other sports, but they don't have access to the right facilities to do that.
Access is the key word, and I think that's why the United States is growing. Every community there are sports facilities.
You want to bring in comparison here?
No, I said that is why. I'm not comparing. I'm saying that is why, and we can always follow. If you have situations like you said, if you have situations where I love this particular sport, I don't need to pay to enter into any facility. All I need to do is I live in that community. I'm recognized by those who take care of the facilities. I can go in and train. You know, if you do that, 50% of all our problems, you've chopped it.
Absolutely.
You've chopped it up by just granting access to people. Then maybe somebody wants to train, wants to start practicing chess, and somebody says, okay, come to so place. You're going to get people who can help you. You know, all of this.
And the State Sports Commission should be able to provide coaches.
Yeah, for all of those. You know, all of these things will work together. I love the fact that we have short, mid-term, and long-term plans. I'll just appeal, my own personal appeal, and I guess it's yours to the sports minister, the #1 sports person in Nigeria, to follow all of this with passion and not be deterred. Because all of this on paper sounds good. If we can achieve everything that he said, I will be pleased. And of course, history will be kind to him if he's able to achieve everything that he has set out in this. So I just hope he follows through on his passion, and whatever comes his way, he should not be deterred and do all of this. And I'm telling you, the large population of Nigeria, who are youths, will be grateful that he had a minister who was able to do all of this, in spite of whatever he came across, to do all of this to ensure that sports become a business, that we have facilities everywhere, that things are going according to plan, that athletes' welfare is top-notch, it's top priority. I mean, all of this, good. And I hope it can follow through with all of that. So that's it on the New Year promise from the sports minister. This is hoping he will be able to fulfill his promise to sports-loving Nigerians who are watching, listening to all the promises made by Sunday Diary, the Minister for Youth and Sports. All right, let's talk about what happened yesterday at the Agege Stadium that has been rechristened the Soccer Temple by football-loving fans in Lagos. Let's see. There you have it. It was a goalless draw, MFM and Nasarawa United. MFM, well, some will say 2 points lost because you always need to make your home a fortress. They didn't lose. That is good. But they seem to fare better away than home.
But then they're having a good run at home. I mean, unbeaten run, 5 matches now.
But just 2 wins.
Just 2 wins. But then the fact that you did not lose at home is also a plus. Because this same Nasarawa couldn't even beat Kano Pillars when they came. The game ended goalless also. And I'm like, Nasarawa United is more like a team now that if you cannot score against them, they try as much as possible to also protect their own side of the bag. And that's why the very first game of the year, of the decade in Nigeria right here, ended goalless. Everyone expected to see some goals because it's the first day of the year. You want to see something really fresh. But then what it means for MFM right now is the fact that, well, they remain unbeaten at home. The season, winning 2, a drawing 3. Nasarawa pick up their second away draw of the season. All right, 7th position on the table right now, 16 points from 10 games. Not bad.
Not bad. Not bad. They need to step it up. Whatever they're doing at home, just turn things around. Cecilia, let's travel abroad. I don't know where you want us to start, but we're traveling abroad. We're talking about the English Premier League, so take your pick.
Okay, let's start with Chelsea first. Talk about Chelsea quickly. We thought, okay, just maybe, how you need to always build on what you've started. Against Arsenal, Arsenal actually came out, firing and all that in the previous game, the London Derby. We were thinking just maybe they'll get something out of that game, but somehow they scored a goal. Aspilicueta scoring his first goal in a long while, right? And what happened? A guy from Iranian, the kick was
a wonderful goal.
And
wonderful goal.
They end the draw because Chelsea decided to sit back in that game. But then this is the result you have there. 1-0 ended. Burnley and Aston Villa away from home winning. And for Leicester City, Ndidi had an assist in that one. Newcastle, of course, about 3 players were substituted, almost before the hour mark.
Ian Acho had 2 shots saved.
Yes, Ian Acho had 2 shots saved in that one. Tottenham and Southampton, we expected Jose Mourinho, his side to actually win this. But then when Harry Kane got injured, he left the field.
Dombele got injured as well.
He left the field. I mean, they were just...
Mourinho got a yellow card.
He got a yellow card because he says he was, his reaction to someone. He was reacting to
You can't use the words on TV.
He was reacting to something. That's the reason. So he deserved the yellow card there. He admitted that. Watford and Wolverhampton, this was a surprise result because Watford, they've been struggling. But then what they did to Manchester United, Wolves should know that these guys are trying to leave the bottom. Right now, Norwich City are at the bottom. And of course, Watford, they're climbing. Just second. But against Wolverhampton, I mean, this was a shock on New Year Day. Man City and Everton was always going to be tricky. Of course, when you have Jesus and of course when you have some players who can actually turn things around, you just have a way of doing that. Everton tried to fight back with bravo. I don't know if that was bravery or whatever it was, but then they had to capitalize on that. They got a goal back, but it ended 2-1. Norwich and Crystal Palace. Norwich still at the bottom.
This was a game VAR was critical. The Norwich manager had complaints. It was careful not to get into trouble, but he had complaints.
With his words. And of course, West Ham, the return of David Moyes is actually yielding a lot of results against Bournemouth,
emphatic win.
Kind of depleted right now. Injuries, man, it's too much for this side. But then Bournemouth find themselves at the bottom for... When was the last time you saw them in that particular position? Like 2 or 3 seasons ago, but right now, they're not smiling. Arsenal and Manchester United, yes, another game on the night. But then we'll focus on Chelsea and then we'll focus also on Arsenal. Let's see pictures coming from that game. Chelsea, we expected Chelsea to actually win that game, but we didn't. They couldn't. Aspilicueta, as I mentioned earlier, was the one who gave them the early goal. We were thinking Chelsea will add more to it, but then they just couldn't. Then we saw the guy from Iran who somehow, he hasn't scored in a long while, but then he scored at the weekend and he also scored again 2 goals, and the celebration was something else. So Chelsea feel gutted. They wanted the 3 points to maintain that 4th spot, but right now, they should be looking behind them. It was a good thing that United and, of course, Tottenham, a good thing that they lost. So Chelsea should be happy that they pick up a point while the two teams chasing them lost their games.
I think Tammy Abraham would be sitting somewhere and what about giving that ball to Willian? What could have happened? And, probably if they had gone 2-0 up, maybe they wouldn't have gotten that sucker punch. Chelsea it's becoming a Jekyll and Hyde performance. This week they're up there, you're clapping. Next week they're losing points. They're becoming inconsistent. There are teams you know that are inconsistent. You're not surprised.
Yeah, I know.
But for Chelsea, one high moment, then another followed by a low. They're in between. There's just in the valley this moment, the peak this moment. Sometimes it's difficult
really can't predict
reading.
The Chelsea you're going to see.
You don't know what you're going to see.
All right, the match of the New Year Day happens to be, of course, the match between Manchester United and Arsenal at the Emirates. Arsenal, of course, they scored first. They knew what they wanted to do.
Yeah.
Pepe had a chance and he didn't miss it. He gave it a goal, and of course, they worked hard. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his boys, too much, maybe Christmas rice.
They were just...
They were tired. They were not in the game. The hunger wasn't there. The hunger that you see usually when they're facing relatively top sides. But then if you look at Arsenal these days, are you going to call them top side? Well, United usually battle against
it's
the
difficult.
sides are closer to the bottom
you see,
than the top. So maybe that's what happened again.
Yesterday, you could see Mikel Arteta's print on that game.
Stamped.
It's fully stamped. The Ivorian, he thought us was going to build his team around Ozil, so we had no doubts Ozil was going to play. Pepe, for me, was the surprise. Every attempt he was trying to shoot. Yes. Every attempt he was trying to shoot. He got one, hit the bar. It was give the assist for the second goal, and it was a good performance on the night. A lot of Arsenal fans thought the team was going to choke because they've been used to seeing some nervy moments towards the end. But then again,
United were not decided looking to score because even when they have the ball, the counter they usually build on, they just couldn't finish it. Like there was something really off on the night.
There was no opportunity to do a smash and grab.
Because
United
Torreira was really
breaking up play all around. United these days against the top sides, although you could question whether or not Arsenal are a top side.
I'm sure that's why they lost. But if they were playing against City,
they'll sit back, smash and grab.
But
open play, it tends to be difficult. So Arsenal, a win for them, first win.